Hey everybody, welcome to the Simhanger. My name is Mark. HP Reverb G2 VR headset has been a staple in the simulation and in particular in the flight simulation market since its launch about 4 years ago or so. And the G2 V2, the upgrade on the original G2, launched about 2.5 years ago or so. The same can be said. But the question that may be crossing your mind at this point is whether or not now is the time to upgrade or change that VR headset. And why? Well, there's a number of reasons. First and foremost, Windows Mixed Reality, which is the platform on which it operates, is being gradually phased out. It's no longer being updated and officially supported by Microsoft, and through a number of Windows updates, it will gradually be phased out between now and sometime in 2026. Windows updates are done on a regional basis. They're not all done worldwide at one time, and so various regions may already be feeling the impact of Windows Mixed Reality not being available and supported. There's also the issue that over the last 4 years there's been some considerable and noteworthy technical advances in terms of the technology, particularly with regards to the visual fidelity and quality of the displays. So there are other choices out there. So the question is, if it is crossing your mind, what are some sensible and realistic options available in the market? Now, I think I do need to say at this juncture that this video is aimed at those that are looking to change their VR headset and hopefully get an upgrade in terms of visuals, but without having to sell too many body parts in order to afford the next VR headset in your lineup. So I'm going to try and keep things real and as practical as possible and address the sort of VR headsets and the price ranges that will appeal to the vast majority of flight simmers. If you want the latest cutting-edge technology, Somnium VR1, Varjo XR4, something of that nature, well, this video probably isn't for you. Just quickly addressing the top-end VR headsets, all I will say is if you are looking at something like the Somnium, you should look at the top end of their range, because the lower end of their range compared to something like the Pimax Crystal, well, it's just not price competitive. And in terms of Varjo XR4, well, that'll only appeal to the super enthusiast, those with lots of disposable income and looking for the very best that you can get. Personally, I'm not a fan, and that's simply because of what happened with the Varjo Aero. Not that they withdrew it from the market, it wasn't commercially viable for them. You can't criticize a company for making that decision. It's what any company would do, but simply the way they handled the withdrawal of the Aero from the market, cutting the price by 50%, saying they'd heard the concerns and were opening up VR to more people, whereas I suspect, and it's only a personal opinion, they were just selling off stock in preparation for an exit. Anyway, I've also, because of the price point, I'm discounting the Pimax Crystal. That's over $1,000 and also the innovative but flawed big screen VR. Now, touching on those VR headsets that are under $1,000, there's a couple that I'm not going to cover. One is the Pico 4, which, as you're probably aware, was a previous favorite of mine until the Quest 3 came along and can be picked up at a bargain price. However, I'm not sure exactly what's happening with Pico at the moment. They've had a substantial change in management and arguably a change in direction. So I'm going to exclude the Pico 4 from this review, and I'm also going to exclude the PSVR 2, the PlayStation VR headset that has now brought out a link box providing VR compatibility until such time as it's unbound from Steam VR. The DP VR White Edition was a miss, and so is excluded on that basis. The new Black Edition, well, I haven't tried that yet. So where does that leave us then? Well, to my mind, there's only two real candidates in the mix at the time of recording this video. The first is the MetaQuest 3 and the second is the Pimax Crystal Light. Which one of these two headsets is the better? Well, to my mind, they're very different VR headsets, appealing to different users for different requirements. Let me explain. And let's start off with the MetaQuest 3. This is originally designed as a standalone VR headset. But for flight simulation, the big advantage is you can use it via a link cable, or preferably, and I find it very liberating, use it wirelessly. In addition, it has mixed reality built in, so you can bring the outside world in. And that's something most PC VR headsets are not capable of, and certainly not in this price range, which by the time you replace the very uncomfortable face gasket and add a battery to it, is going to cost you something in the region of about $600. It has great pancake lenses. It is a very capable VR headset. Now, there is some compression in terms of transfer of data, so there is a little bit of loss of visual fidelity, but it's not a deal breaker, and it's a great and magnificent experience in Microsoft Flight Simulator, but with one caveat. You do need a fairly beefy CPU and GPU in order to accommodate for that compression and to give you the level of performance that you require. Let's turn now to the Pimax Crystal Light. The Pimax software, Pimax Play, is now robust. The headset connects every time. There's no connection problems at all. And you have the ability to adjust the resolution. So if you've only got something that isn't quite top end, you can adjust the resolution down and still use the VR headset. If you want to run it at full resolution, you need to bear in mind you once again need a fairly beefy PC. Interestingly though, I see that Pimax are coming out with an upscaling utility that will allow you, for example, to upscale from 2160 by 2160, which is the HP Reverb resolution, up to 2880 by 2880. So it'll be interesting. Very similar to what DLSS does within Microsoft Flight Simulator. It'll be interesting to compare the two. So the big question is, buy now or wait? Well, that's always the most difficult question to answer. I've been waiting for the perfect headset for well over 10 years now, and I'm still waiting. No VR headset is perfect, but at some point it makes sense to jump in, because the VR experience is second to none within flight simulation, and particularly in Microsoft Flight Simulator. So what VR headsets am I currently using? Well, I'm currently using both the Quest 3 and the Pimax Crystal Light. On balance, I would say I'm using the Pimax Crystal Light more than the Quest 3, and that's because of the visual fidelity, the resolution, the clarity in the cockpit, the ease at which you can read various instruments and so on. And to be honest, the ease of use, it's a plug-in and go scenario. It's more expensive than the Quest 3, depending on which version you opt for, plus upgrade the sound as recommended in my review, and in real terms your cost will vary between $850 and $1,000. But on balance, I have no hesitation on recommending the Pimax Crystal Light. What follows are a few quick clips of the Pimax Crystal Light using different GPUs, and my thanks go out to the Flight Sim PC specialists who are based in the UK, wired to fire, and to Dan in particular for giving me access to the hardware. Whilst you're having a look at the links, please bear in mind that my system is a 14900K. I've got 32GB of memory and the respective graphic cards as indicated. Please note that different hardware will give different results, so your results may well be different and will vary from mine. Now, as a content creator on YouTube, I'm often offered various affiliate links and so on, and as if you've been following my channel for any length of time, I don't normally offer affiliate links unless they offer the subscriber an advantage as well. However, Pimax have offered a nominal $10 discount if you want to buy the Pimax Crystal Light. It's not affiliated, but the link is below. Take advantage of it if you want to. The tests were done at full res with a preset of few clouds. AI traffic was not on, and flying in and around Manhattan Island. My settings were a mixture of high, medium, and low as appropriate. As always, I just want to thank you very much for watching the video. I hope you found it useful and informative. Take care, look after yourselves. I'll see you all again very soon. And ciao for now.